Hello everyone, this is Kelly O here for Swee Lee, and today we're looking at a 2017 model Gibson 1964 ES-345 reissue. This one is VOS in frost blue, which as you can see is a really cool color. VOS means Vintage Original Spec, which means the guitar is slightly aged. If you look at the pickups here, you can see that they don't look brand new and shiny, but the guitar is lightly aged, meaning it isn't full of gouges and nicks like a heavily relic instrument would be. So really, really pretty guitar, this one. Now, the ES-345 was the midpoint of the classic ES series, which debuted in 1958. And the 345, like all the ES series, is an incredibly versatile instrument. The ES series generally became the go-to guitars for all the great 70s and 80s session guys like Lee Ritenour, Jay Graydon, Larry Carlton. So all the stuff you heard in the 70s and 80s, the guitars on those quite possibly were ES series guitars. Now, the 345 has a couple of distinguishing features, so you can tell it apart from the other ones in the series, the 335 and the 355. The ES-345 has a couple of distinguishing features. One is the double parallelogram inlays, which I call the lieutenant stripes. Makes it look quite different from the 335 and the 355. And the other is the Varitone, which is something fairly unique to the 345, while some of the other Gibsons did use them from time to time. Now, essentially, the Varitone is a switch with a predefined frequency scoop in each position, which gives it, at least to my ears, a kind of an out-of-phase squawk, which differs depending on where you are in the suite. And that switch preserves the lows and the highs, but modifies the other frequencies. Now, position 1 on a Varitone is a pure bypass, which means this thing performs just like a 355 or a 335 when it's in the number 1 position. When you start to sweep it through, it sounds quite different. So what I'll do to give you a sense for that is I'm going to turn these pickups here, and I'm going to put it in between both pickups. I'm just going to play a bit of a blues progression and show you what it sounds like, starting with position 1, which is the bypass. So here's the basic sound of the 345 in between the pickups. There you go, quite different, huh? As you sweep it through the positions. I think the most pronounced use of the Varitone I've heard, at least on a recording, is from B.B. King's 1964 live recording, Live at the Regal. I listened to that album probably 7 or 8 times a week for the last several decades. And the first song on the album, Every Day I Have the Blues, his second solo, he takes a standard B.B. King solo, and it sounds like B.B. because I think he's in the bypass position, and his opening sequence is something like that. And then he hits the Varitone, I think, because whap, all of a sudden it sounds almost like a Telecaster, and a very, very cool sound. So there are so many combinations and permutations of the sounds you can get out of a Varitone. I think what I'll do is I'll just play a blues through for you, and I will have it in between the pickups, because the Varitone seems to have the most effect when you're in between pickups. And I'm going to start on position 6, which is the most pronounced one, just work my way backwards, and eventually we'll finish up on the number 1 position, which is actually the bypass position. Okay, so here we go on that blues. So there you go, that's the 2017 Gibson 1964 ES-345 VOS Frost Blue, which comes with its own Gibson hardshell case. You can check it out at Swee Lee or at sweelee.com.sg. It's up on the site. Beautiful instrument. I'd encourage you to check it out. This has been Kelly O for Swee Lee, and we'll see you next time. Take care.